Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Throne of Eldraine draft. Before I dive in, I do want to remind you that if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss any future videos, and leave a comment in the comment section down below if you have any questions at all. If you would like to catch me streaming live, you can find me on twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas. But we are into the draft, and we have opened up a sweet pack. We've got a rare that's not great, but we have several cool uncommons to talk about and a lot of commons as usual. So the rare, basically these lands are cards that you'll always play in your blue decks, even if you're not like heavily blue, because they just have a decent amount of upside in the late game, but you don't really activate them as much as you think you will. That you tend to activate them maybe like once every 3 games or so, which is nice because it is free value tacked onto a land, but you don't need to prioritize them or take them highly because there are a lot of like cards that you will get a lot more value out of, like creatures and removal spells and stuff. In the uncommon slot, I think the best uncommon is Beanstalk Giant by a pretty decent margin. It lets you fix your mana if you're going for a splashy deck. It's also a big threat in the late game. Certain decks just can't deal with a 7-mana 7/7, or eventually even bigger. So Beanstalk Giant is an excellent card. Burning Yard Trainer is okay, but definitely not a card that I'm going to take over. Beanstalk Giant, all the glitters can find a home in the right deck, but it's only really good in specific decks, and so you don't really want to prioritize it super early. In the common slot, the best common is Ardenvale Tactician. This card is fantastic. Pretty much everything the white decks want. It's also an adventure for adventure synergy decks, and pretty much just it incentivizes you to be heavy white, but it really pays you off for doing so, because tapping 2 creatures can be quite good, and the flying can be quite, like a 2/3 flying for 3 is also quite nice. Other commons, Brimstone Trebuchet is probably better than you think it is. This card has been excellent for me, and really is a nice way to beat cards like Revenge of Ravens. It's kind of like a must-kill threat for a lot of control decks, because it just gives you a lot of inevitability. And then other commons, Ginger Brute's probably a little better than you think, but you don't need to prioritize it. Especially on Arena, this card just wheels. You'll see a lot of these. It makes cards that have haste a little bit better, so this card being able to block Ginger Brute's quite relevant. Crashing Drawbridge is a common that goes up a little bit in value because of Ginger Brute, because it lets you block it. Because this card is kind of like the Brimstone Trebuchet. It gives you a little bit of inevitability. Funnily enough, I've been playing against Weapons Rack recently, and it hasn't been too terrible, but I still don't think you should really be playing that card. And then Lost Legion is kind of a payoff for being a heavier black deck, but we're just going to take the Beanstalk Giant. Really happy to see that. Ooh! And then we can follow this Beanstalk Giant up with something like a Sage of Falls. This could lead to a really sweet deck, like a blue-green rampish controlish deck. Obviously, you can't really know where you're going to be after 2 picks in, but I think Sage of the Falls is the best card in this pack. It really just gives you a lot of flexibility. It can loot away cards that are bad. It can like fuel draw 2 payoffs. Overall, this card is quite good. There's a lot of non-humans, and this card works really nicely in like big mana decks, because it can find you your payoffs or find you your lands if you need to get up to like 7 mana, but generally you're going to be able to get rid of your extra lands with this card. Bognaughty is a card that looks really good and looks really scary, but ends up playing out a little bit worse than it looks. So the thing is it's only really good in black-green, so you can kind of think of this as like a black-green gold card. So like if you imagine that this was like 2 green black as a card instead of just 3 black, like sure you can play a 5 mana 3/3 flyer, but that's not really like a premium card. Whoa. Well, thank you so much, Bob Pratt, for the subscription. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing that Twitch Prime. But yeah, Bognaughty is a card that you only really want to play in green-black. We do already have a green card, but I don't really want to commit myself to green-black this early, and you kind of need the food generation to make this card good. Curious Pair is like, okay, I think I would probably take Garenbrig Carver over it at this point in the draft, even though, like, Curious Pair is a good card in the black-green food decks. I don't even think that this is the best common. I'd probably, in the common section, I would potentially take Unexplained Vision. This card is quite nice with like ramp decks because you can find more payoffs, you have the mana. But I think I'm just going to take the Sage of the Falls here. In this pack, I think I go Sage of the Falls, and then I probably would take Bognaughty. It's just higher upside than these other commons. And then I'd probably take Unexplained Vision, and then probably, I probably would take Curious Pair over Garenbrig Carver, just because the Beanstalk Giant kind of wants me to go to the late game, and Curious Pair helps with that a little bit more. But we're going to take the Sage of the Falls. Okay. I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down, bots. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So we don't really get a ton of signaling. Basically, we know that there is a rare missing out of the pack, and there is a common missing out of the pack. Most commons aren't really worth taking over these 3 cards. These cards are better than most of the commons. The only ones that really would potentially get it is Bacon to Pie, so you can maybe assume that people are taking like Bacon to Pies over this. like caliber of card, but even then you'd probably take a lot of these over most of the commons. But rares you could definitely see taking over. Fairy Vandal works really well with Sage of the Falls. Like, it's a really nice combo. You're going to get the extra card draw every single turn. And then Deathless Knight only really works in a black-green deck. We don't really want to commit to black-green, especially if we think Bake Into a Pie was taken out of the pack. Clockwork Servant is just a really solid card, but it doesn't like win you the game the same way a Fairy Vandal would. It's not like that same kind of level of payoff. And it really wants you to be a heavy color of one color because it wants you to be able to play it on turn 3. Like, sure, playing in the late game's fine, but it's much better playing it on turn 3. I think we're just going to take the Fairy Vandal here. It works so well with Sage of the Falls, and we are maybe seeing a blue signal. We see a Merfolk Secret Keeper here. Clockwork Servant's okay, and it does leave you a little bit more flexible, but Fairy Vandal can like kind of win you the game on its own, and I really do like that card. What else is there in the pack? I mean, in the common slot, I think the best black common is Malevolent Noble. Sure, Barrow Witches is like good in a lot of decks. Like, if you have a Sir Conrad, you really want at least one Barrow Witches to be able to get it back. But I generally would rather have a Malevolent Noble early because I want to get those 2-drops out of the way. If you take a 2-drop early, it leaves you more flexible to take expensive cards later, essentially. And then Deathless Knight would only really work in a black-green deck, but I don't think we're going to try and commit ourselves to black-green quite yet. And then there's a Jousting Dummy. I think, honestly, in this pack, I go Fairy Vandal, then Clockwork Servant, and then I'd probably gamble on the Deathless Knight, and then maybe Merfolk Secret Keeper, and then Malevolent Noble. That's my pick order for this pack. Oh, yes, we got there, folks. Second Fairy Vandal. Maybe we can move into a blue-red card draw deck. Merchant of the Veil definitely is a card that I would want in that scenario. There's also a couple of great green cards, so maybe we're just meant to be blue-green. But Fairy Vandal is definitely a great card, and even if you pick up a couple opts or things like that, it can really just run away with the game. I think it's going to be better than these green cards, especially because I'm by no means committed to playing green. But these are the 2 best green commons, and they're still in the pack, so that's something to keep in mind for sure. I just would rather commit myself to a heavy blue deck so far, and then maybe find a second color like a blue-red deck, rather than go into a 2-color split this early on. And getting another Fairy Vandal is a nice little signal, especially because Merchant's still in the pack. I wish I could get that Merchant to wheel. Thank you so much, Balm Kuchen 5000, for the follow. And thank you, Comer Tom, for the follow. Okay, so now in this pack there's a pretty easy golden egg. We have 2 Fairy Vandals. We just want cards that let us draw, and it can help us fix our mana, so we could potentially play like a Beanstalk Giant splash around deck, which could be really cool and powerful. So we're going to just easily take the golden egg here over the Scalding Cauldron. And actually, I'd probably take Enchanted Carriage over the Cauldron, but yeah, definitely taking golden egg here. And now there's an Unexplained Vision. This card is excellent, really fits with the blue card draw theme that I'm building towards, even if I end up in a blue-green ramp deck. So we'll take the Unexplained Vision now. And now, honestly, we could still go in any direction, so we aren't like committed to green. So we'll probably just take the Smitten Swordmaster because it's the highest power level among these cards. Sure, the Ogre Errant might fit into the ideal color combination for us, but if we end up in a blue-black deck, we'll be fine having a Smitten Swordmaster. I'd rather end up in blue-red, though. Blue-red would be the ideal configuration for this, with 2 Fairy Vandals. And I already have a Sage of the Falls. Now we'll just take a Searing Barrage. Searing Barrage is just a nice little removal spell. And, yeah, we don't really need to pick up the Once in Future or the 2 Infiltrate Folk. I think blue-red would be a good spot to end up. And there's a really late Searing Barrage, even though Once in Future is pretty solid. And now we'll probably just take... I mean, I don't really want to just take a Gingerbrute here. Signpost Scarecrow is not great. I think we'll just take a Jousting Dummy to get a 2-drop. Now there's a Curious Pair. Signpost Scarecrow is still an option. Let's just take the Curious Pair. We can get a Signpost Scarecrow later if we really want one. Now a Jousting Dummy. Wow, really late Shine Chaser here. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Oh goodness. So, in this pack there is another Fairy Vandal. Oh gosh, that's kind of nuts. There's another Fairy Vandal, there's a Red Cap Melee. Honestly, since we don't really know our second color yet, I kind of just want to take another Fairy Vandal and then just really look for those draw cards, payoffs, or synergies. I could see splashing a Searing Barrage off of like one Mountain, one Golden Egg, one Beanstalk Giant. So we could still just be playing a blue-green deck. But Fairy Vandal, the more you have, the more you want more, because you can just start building your deck around them. Red Cat Melee is great, but we're not sure we're going to be red, and you want to be able to cast this with red mana, so you don't want to splash it off of like 3 sources. You want to have red mana early to cast it. And then Fierce Witchstalk is pretty good, but we're just going to keep taking the blue cards. Ooh, oh gosh. Lock Dragon is great. We already have a heavy blue deck, and Lock Dragon works so well with our Fairy Vandals. Just constantly fuels them. I think we're just going to take the Lock Dragon here. Even if we don't end up in blue-red, we're only missing out on an Unexplained Vision, which we already have a copy of. So this is just a clear Lock Dragon, in my opinion. Like, nothing else even comes remotely close. And, of course, the 4th Fairy Vandal. Just got to pick that one up. Yeah, we're just going to jam this. And we're going to try and play blue-red card draw, because that's going to be the best home for 4 Fairy Vandals. And now we can pick up a Unexplained Vision. We're not really going after the Bloodhaze Wolverine synergy. We'd rather just have Fairy Vandals, Lock Dragon, Sage of the Falls. We'll take another Unexplained Vision. And now, oh my gosh. This is tricky. This is tricky, tricky, tricky. Do we want to take the Merchant of the Veil, or would we rather have a Witching Well? I think at this point we're just going to play blue-red. So Witching Well can be triggered on their end step, and we can hold up Fairy Vandal to flash in or crack Witching Well. There's also Merchant, which is great. I think we really want Merchant in this deck, and we're going to prioritize taking it because we have 4 Fairy Vandals, so being able to pay 3 to put a counter on them every turn is really good. And now we'll just take another... I don't think we want 3 Unexplained Visions. I could see taking the Bloodhaze Wolverine, though. I do like Weaselback Redcap better, but our mana base isn't going to be able to support red 1-drops, I don't think. 3 Unexplained Visions is just too many. Now there's a Moonlit Scavengers. We have a couple artifacts, so I could see this making the cut. We could also take a Mystic Sanctuary. I kind of like Mystic Sanctuary in this deck. It has some options. Probably better than Moonlit Scavengers. Depends on how heavy a 1-color we end. Ooh, another Searing Barrage. Sign me up. What? Red Cat Melee Wield? Well, if that's not a signal, I don't know what is. Our deck is fantastic. There's a Fling. Sure, we're not going to be playing Mistford River Turtle. Oh my gosh, Witching Well Wield. Well, that was easy. Just get everything we want. Whew. Okay, so this is actually tricky. There's a Scorching Dragonfire, but we already have 2 Searing Barrages and a Red Cat Melee. And we got a Searing Barrage fairly. We're not going to wheel this one, but I think we're just going to take another Sage of the Falls so we can consistently trigger our Fairy Vandals. We wouldn't mind a Tome Raider, but I think Sage of the Falls is just too good to pass up. So we're going to we would take Sage of the Falls and then Scorching Dragonfire and then probably Tome Raider and then So Tiny. Now we can pick up another Merchant of the Veil. Definitely want this over the Rimrock Knight. Normally Rimrock Knight's a slam dunk pick here, but we really just want the Merchant. And maybe we can wheel Thrill or Tome Raider. Huh, happily ever after. Did we do it? I don't think so. Steelclaw Griffin is probably going to be a 5-mana 4/4 most of the time, but not really exactly what we want. We're probably not going to play all these Unexplained Visions. We're probably only going to play 1 of them or 2 of them. I don't really want to take Bloodhaze. We do have a lot of 5-drops. Yeah, we're probably just going to take Bloodhaze here. Or Mistford. Though I don't think we really need Mistford. Thrill is a pretty nice pickup here. Just fuels our Fairy Vandals. Slaying Fire, excellent pickup. There is a Grumgully, but we're not really going to be splashing here. We don't really have the tools to do that. We only have 1 Golden Egg. So yeah, we're just going to take a Slaying Fire, more removal. Always nice. Another Thrill. There's also a Scalding Cauldron. We already have 1, to 4 removal spells, so I don't think we really need the Scalding Cauldron. So I kind of just want to take another Thrill here. They work so nicely with the Bloodhaze Wolverines. And now we'll just take a Gingerbread, I guess. Turn into a Pumpkin's unbelievable in this deck. We don't need another Thrill. And Tome Raider came back. Perfect. We got another Tome Raider or a Thrill. We already have 2 Thrills. Let's just get another Tome Raider. We aren't going to really play Bargain, I don't think, so let's just take the Quarter Monitor if we need extra defense. Okay, so this deck is going to be interesting to build. So we're probably going to cut some number of Bloodhaze Wolverines. We'll cut one of those. We'll cut one Unexplained Vision. And then... So we have 8 2-drops now. I think we want to... So 9-8 seems like an okay mana base split. Let's look at our colors. Yeah, 12-11, so 9-8 seems okay. I could see cutting the Jousting Dummies. They're just not as powerful as what we have going on. And we already have a lot of 2-drops. Like, I'd probably rather play Bloodhaze than Jousting Dummy. 2 Thrills seems fine. I think we really got there. This deck looks great. I really like the configuration we have here. Let's double check we're not missing anything. I don't think we can play Mystic Sanctuary with this mana base. Our deck ended up a lot more skewed towards the normal color spectrum than we thought it would initially. Unexplained Vision, we already have a lot of 5-drops. We have 2 Sages to help us fuel through. We have a lot of card draw like on Tome Raiders and Witching Wells and stuff, so I don't think we need extra with Unexplained Vision. We only need one of those. Another Bloodhaze, probably not necessary. I'd rather just have the Thrills to help fuel my Fairy Vandals. How many creatures do we have? We have 13 creatures. Yeah, seems fine. And then, yeah, we don't need the Jousting Dummies. This deck looks excellent. We can always make changes later, but currently I really like the way it looks, and I'll see you in the matches. Before I get to the matches, I want to take a brief moment to say thank you to all of my patrons over at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas, and special thanks to all of the patrons that support at the credits level. Thank you, Eric S., Stephen W., Brent, and Mr. Martinez. I really do appreciate your support and the support of all my patrons. If you want to learn more, you can find that information at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. But without further ado, let's get to the matches. Hello, and welcome to round 1. Definitely keeping this one. Gonna start scrying. Hopefully we can find a Fairy Vandal. Nice. I don't think we need Thrill. We'd rather just draw a random card. Like a land. We're gonna go Fairy Vandal into Tome Raider. Into like Witching Well or something. Ooh, 3 colors. Well, that's not ideal for us. Sure. Yay, we hit a land. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Can't block unless you have 4 more cards in hand, so this can't block. Okay, sure. So it can't attack unless I have 7 more cards, which isn't happening. Can't block unless I have 4 more cards in hand. Sure. We're just going to start with the Sage of Falls to keep this thing growing. And then we'll get rid of the island. The next turn we can Searing Barrage them. Or we can just do Merchant of the Veil shenanigans. Okay, they're just dead, I think. Okay, now that can block. So if they counter it, they won't have enough cards in their hand to block. Yep, we got him. Boom! Well, that is exactly how we drew it up. Our deck is fantastic. And I will see you in the next round. Welcome to round 2. We have the 1-2 punch once again. Oh, no. Oh gosh, the 1-2-3 punch. I wish we were on the play. I don't know why I played that on my main phase. Sure. Opponent has banned cards in their limited deck. Too good. Sure. This is actually going to be okay for us. We're going to probably play our Bloodhaze Wolverine and then Thrill of Possibility. Okay, never mind. Change of plan. We don't have anything we really want to discard. I guess we could discard our... Sure. We'll discard Thrill. And then when we play Sage of Falls, we'll be all set against his 7 dwarves. Man, our deck is fantastic. We'll discard Bloodhaze Wolverine. The last two cards would have to be exactly Searing Barrage plus something else. Maybe my attack was too aggressive. Okay, it was not. My attack was not too aggressive. We got there. Huzzah. Thank goodness. Opponent's dead on board. Like, I don't even have to block. Sure. Oh, this has reach. Never mind. Right. Okay, Red Cat melee should win us the game. Got the job done. Whew. Feels good. Boom. Into Platinum. Oh my goodness. What an honor. What a great honor to be ranked up to Platinum. My lifelong dream. I'll see you in the next round, folks. Round 4, is it? I don't know. No, it's round 3. We're going to keep this hand, obviously. We can't win a die roll to save our lives, but we can win matches because our deck is great. So our Tomb Raider can trade off with Smitten Swordmaster at some point in the future. Sure. Like, we could have technically got rid of that, but we don't really care about the 1/1 flyer. We're just going to be patient here, hold back. We have a lot of lands in hand, and we have a lot of ways to loot them away in our deck, but not currently in our hand, so once we draw one of those, we're going to be in much better shape. Okay. Sure. Huh. Perfecto. Get in for 1. And we can actually just use our red cap melee on something if it's going to be helpful, because we have so many lands. I don't really want to use it because we want to keep out open draws of Searing Barrage. Sage of the Falls would be great. Yeah, we just don't really care. Like, sure, they hit us for 4 now, but, like, all of our stuff has flying. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Also, if they have like a Sir Conrad or something, we really want to be able to kill that. We're just waiting for a Merchant of the Veil, Thrill of Possibility, Sage of the Falls. Sure. Yikes. Okay, I think we're going to have to kill that. Sure. That's really bad. For us, at least. Just block there, then we can just eat it with that. Come on, big draw. Come on, deck. Not like this. We have so many cards that just like make these lands like useful. Oh my gosh. We've drawn 10 lands and not a single way to get rid of them. We have Lock, Dragon, 2 Sage of the Falls, 2 Thrill of Possibility, 2 Merchant of Veils. We have 7 cards that just turn on our entire hand. Oh gosh. No! Give me my card draw. Please, deck. Please. Oh my gosh. Come on, deck. That's at least a start. I'm going to hold one island, but I think we can afford to have these 4 out in case we draw like a card draw spell. One, two, three, four. Shoot. That's really bad. I would like a golden egg, please. Dang, our deck has really let us down this game. I think we just want to kill the Rankle. Because we don't want to have to take an extra damage. Hey, golden egg, thank you, mate. Thank you, deck. Yes! We did it. Whew, that is what I like to see. Oh, perfect. Oh, and we have even more food now. So, I'm going to have 4 blockers. 3, 4. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attackers. Just puts me dead to any removal spell. But I don't think they have one. I can go block, 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 block. Perfect. Yes, we did it. So we want to keep that in hand. So we want to play this and have a food activation. We're just going to hold up a food activation because we're in the danger zone. Like if they have another Smitten Swordmaster, we would just die. Sure. Sure. So Rankle is coming at some point. Oh, that's great. Whoo! So we can go. We have 9 mana potentially. So we can go 5, 8. Huh. So if we do this, I'm tempted to just go like this. I'm going to do this and then gain 6 life, I think. So what do we want to scry? We don't really want Blood Haze. Oh, we don't need a second Merchant. But Fairy Vandal would be nice. So we have 11 cards left in the deck. We're going to gain 6 life here. Rankle, I assume. Okay. Thanks for the host, Suicidal Samurai. I appreciate it. Okay. So if we play Sage of the Falls and Searing Barrage on the Rankle, this looks good to me. So we can attack them for 3 plus 5. We'll still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attackers, but a bunch of them are small. Could we even send with this guy so they have no cards in hand? We're going to kill Rankle, so they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attackers. And we'll have 1, 2, they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because we're going to kill the Rankle. So if 7 attackers, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers, so 3 of them are going to get through. And that's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's fine. We'll send with these guys. We are currently undefeated, Suicidal Samurai. Our deck is unbelievable. We have 4 copies of Fairy Vandal. Let's look at the damage here. Yeah, our deck is unbelievable. It's insane. Thank you so much for the follow, Suicidal Samurai. I appreciate it. We're just going to end our turn here. Okay, so that was their final card option. Okay, sure. So if he makes his discard, we're fine. Sure. So we'll just kill the Rankle now. Free up our mana a little bit. Oh boy. Okay, we're going to get rid of Thrill. Next to combat. Send in the Goon Squad here. This is unbelievable. And then we can burn them out. Oh no, they're chumping. Shoot. They're on to me. Hello, Asana. Welcome. I think we're going to win this game. I'm very optimistic. We still have 7 cards left in our deck. Revenge is not a hard counter to the Fairy Vandals. That's the new tech. Hit him with the old 6/7. Oh yeah, to 1/1s obviously, but not to Fairy Vandals. I don't have an Improbable Alliance in the deck. I only have Fairy Vandals as my payoffs, which I don't mind. This is just game. This is game 4, Asana. If they have +2/+2, I want to make sure I kill the Swordmaster. Doesn't really matter though. We're just going to make sure we don't deck ourselves. We will decline. These are the world's biggest Fairy Vandals. Other fairies will say, when I grow up, I want to be a Fairy Vandal. Sure, gain your life. Boom. My opponent was at like 30-something in this game at one point. Turns out when you have 4 Fairy Vandals and 2 of them have 8 power, you tend to win games. That's going to do it for that round. I'll see you in the next one. Hello and welcome to another round here. I think we're going to mulligan this hand. We do have a Fairy Vandal, but we only have islands, and we really need red mana for this hand to work. And this hand is far superior. We're actually going to get rid of Tome Raider, I think. Maybe just get rid of Red Cat Melee. Yeah, I kind of like that. I just want to be able to catch back up in terms of cards. Red Cat Melee is good, but thank you, Ring Thane. I appreciate it. Were you my last round opponent? My deck is actually absurd, so yeah, you put up a good fight. Yeah, my deck, it has all of the pieces it needs. Four Fairy Vandals definitely helps. If they so tiny me, I'm actually going to be okay with that. Maybe they have their own Fairy Vandal. Opt, okay. No! The monster. Jeez, my hand is not looking good right now. Yikes, I really hope they don't kill my merchant to the Veil. Don't do it, opponent. I think we've only drawn lands this game. Actually, I know we've only drawn lands this game. Oh, that's nice. Oh! Okay. Yeah, those two both seem pretty good to me. So once we get up to 6 lands, we're going to keep this land in hand to leave away things. Come back, Red Cat Melee. I miss you. I'm just going to take one more hit from this and then I'm going to chump. Yeah. Okay. Okay, sure. We're going to like chump with this and then chump with this. Okay, so we're going to hold full control. The way this is going to work is we're going to go Fairy Vandal. In response to the Sage of the Falls trigger, we're going to play another Fairy Vandal. Now we can let go of full control. Resolve. Take action. Get rid of our second Sage of the Falls. Trigger, trigger. Take action. Get rid of our island. No attacks. End turn. Sure. I should have attacked for 1. And then chumped with Sage or Merchant. Actually, never mind. Chumping here is way better. I'm afraid of a Bargain, but I can't beat a Bargain, so... Actually, let's see. Let's do this first. Yeah, I don't have a way to kill this, so we're just gonna hope they don't have Bargain, and if they do, we lose. Yes, they do not have Bargain. Perfect. Whew. If we'd found a Searing Barrage, we would have... Ooh, interesting. Hopefully they don't play around Slaying Fire, but they probably will. Now I will block with the Sage of the Falls here. Sure. So if they have Bargain, this goes up to 6. So then it goes 6, 12, minus 5, so I go to 3. They have to have Bargain plus Remark Knight, but they've only had 1 draw step. And if they had Remark, they would have used it already. Sure. They're just dead on board. I only need one of these guys to make it through. Sure. Wow, that's actually hilarious. We'll shoot him with the Slaying Fire just to let him know that we had him either way. Sure. Boom! Got the job done! Wow, that was actually kind of scary. I was afraid of a barge in that entire game, but we got the W, and I'll see you in the next round. Oh, and welcome. We're going to keep this hand on the play. Hopefully we can find another way to draw a card, but we're going to be fine. I'm not worried. We're going to play this one because we'd rather trade these off. Thank you for the words of encouragement, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I appreciate it. Okay, outflank's not the end of the world. We're just going to make the conservative play. Okay, they outflank again, sure. Just going to delay them. We have a lot of powerful 5s in our hand. Just going to draw 3, fuel our hand up. Oh yes, things are looking good. And then we can start with the Sage of the Falls. Don't Searing Barrage me, bro. You know you don't want to do that. Oh well. Classic all removal hand. I'm fine with the way this game is going. I'm at 16. I have 4 cards, they have 2. Oh yeah, this game's over. We're going to hold this island so we can discard it to stuff. Yeah, this game's like not even close at this point. No, you monster. Huh. I think we're going to lock Dragon. I don't actually really want to get rid of any of these things, so we're going to decline. Have them on a 2-turn clock now. I mean, I think cosplay is kind of cool. I don't do it myself, but it's cool when I see people. I have a picture with, I forget what her name is, but someone did a cosplay at GP Vegas and I took a picture with them. It was pretty cool. Yeah, that's going to do it for that round. Not much to talk about there. We kind of just steamrolled them. So, see you in the next one. Oh, and welcome. This is a fantastic hand. We're going to keep it. We do need to hit a land, but we have Thrill to help us find it. And I'm very optimistic. If we draw a land in our first couple draw steps, we can go Fairy Vandal into Tome Raider. Otherwise, we can go Fairy Vandal into Thrill of Possibility. So we do not hit a land. This is Throne of Eldraine, yes. Yeah, we're just gonna pass the blockers. We don't really care about the 1 damage. Whereas if they have an adventure to kill our Fairy Vandal, we really care. Like if they have a Rimrock Knight, we're just totally wrecked. Oh man. Really gonna try and hit our land drop. Perfect. 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 We're hitting our land drops now. We're just going to pass, and then we're going to bounce whatever they play on their turn, pretty much. Ooh, they have an island in their deck. Interesting. Rare into Mythic. Yeah, I don't really care. It's fine. Sure. Perfect. I mean, we have 4 Fairy Vandals, so I'm not complaining about my deck at all. I mean, it happens. I've definitely had decks that have multiple rares and mythics in them. Their deck does not seem to be as well configured as you'd think. Sure. I think we actually are going to get rid of Tome Raider. So next turn we can really go off, because we can play Fairy Vandal on our turn, buff up both our Fairy Vandals, and then crack Witching Well on their turn to buff them up again. Yeah, I agree, it's a bit too slow. It seems weird to have Fervent Champion in the same deck as Midnight Clock. Maybe that's just me. So we'll go Fairy Vandal. And then on their turn we'll crack Witching Well to buff up our guys again. We'll do it on their end step though, so if they have Searing Barrage they can't just kill this thing in response. We'll wait for them to tap some of their mana. Sure. So this thing now has reach, keep that in mind. I guess I could have double blocked that. And then I'll just double block this. Gain 3 life. Okay, yeah, that's game. GG, opponent. Yeah, that attack was quite aggressive, but they were in bad shape either way, probably. You never know. Maybe they had like a barge in or something they needed to like get it done or something. Seven, 8 Fairy Vandal, no big deal. Boom! Getting the job done. Our deck is rolling, cruising. I think we're 6-0 now. I'll see you in the finals. Hello and welcome to the final round. Hopefully, we have a fantastic hand. Of course, the turn 2 Fairy Vandal, the turn 3 Merchant of the Veil to bump it up. We definitely need to get a boss fight song. We need to find a non-copyright song that I can play when I get into the boss fight, because I always end up in a boss fight. Hopefully. Oh, thank goodness. I always worry that they're gonna like completely wreck me on the first turn with like a turn 1 Wildwood Tracker, because that's what I always face in the finals. I'm actually gonna just do this now. Normally I would have waited, but I think when they have a little bit of an aggressive start, we want to make sure we have an ideal curve out against them. Sure. This is actually going to be perfect. Because Fairy Vandal can block the Garenbrick Squire, and then the Tome Raider can block the Rimrock Knight. I regret everything. So much regret for getting rid of that land. Oh, man. Okay. Sure. Oh no. We're just going to scry to try and find land. Land. We don't need a Fairy Vandal right now. Just trying to stabilize. We have blockers. Oh, man. The trade happened. Let's go. So what would I discard? Probably the Unexplained Vision. I just need to get this Sage of the Falls out. I'm going to trade this with Raging Redcap. Okay. Okay. Hopefully this is enough. Obviously no attack. I'm afraid of Searing Barrage. Okay. So Kara's fine. Okay. I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid! Oh, man. I actually only go to 1 if they have a Searing Barrage. Sure. Wow, they got rid of a spell. That's bold. Okay. So I think we're going to play... So we have 7 mana, so we can do both of these things. I think we're just going to play this island. And pass. Edgewall Innkeeper, eh? Sure. Sure. Huh. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. I appreciate the kind words, Angaran. The defense overall is definitely huge. Yeah, I agree. So we can bounce something with turn into a pumpkin, and we're going to bounce the red cap, presumably, and then we can also crack the food. Yeah, that thing's going to die, because I literally can't block it. The Sage is such a good card, Angaran. It's like, oh gosh, what can they have for 1 red mana? Let's just do this now. So we're going to thrill a possibility. Sure. Interesting that they're discarding a real spell. So they draw an extra card here. Sure. We're not going to loot here. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we only have 3 lands left in the deck. Do we have a Searing Barrage left? We do. Sure. Sure. I think we got this. The only downside is we might deck ourselves, but I don't think we are. I think we're going to wind up just with enough room. Perfect. Okay, red cap melee is great. So we're at 3 cards. We go up to... We go to 2 cards. Four, 11, 12. Yeah, we'll keep him back. And then we have red cap melee, which we can cast thanks to our golden egg. Or we can just gain an extra 3 life. Like, all their creatures are very low power, so we like don't really care about these rats and stuff. So we can just go up to 12. They don't even have 12 power in play. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I guess they have exactly 12. We're just going to gain the 3 life. I think it's safer. High power. High power. High power. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good game. Boom! Whoo! Got the W. We advanced all the way into Platinum Tier 3 with this deck, undefeated. We've won our last 14 games of Throne of Eldraine. Unreal stuff. Actually, maybe even more. That's nuts. What a victory. If you did make it all the way till the end of this video, in the comment section down below, leave a hashtag Vandal Victory, because Fairy Vandal really carried us to victory there. It was totally sweet and super awesome. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos, and click that bell so you get notified when I post new content. Leave a comment if you have any questions or comments at all, and if you would like to catch me streaming live, you can find me on twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas. So that is going to do it for this draft video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will talk to you next time.